everyone, it's Marie here. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is for the Fall into Autumn project pack, and this one is focusing on the smaller layering stencil, which is the beautiful leaves, and this giant love where the O is a pumpkin love cut file. So I've cut this nice and big. I want it to be the main feature on my page. You could, if you're a digital customer, cut it smaller if you wish, but I wanted it nice and big on my page. I wanted it to be the big feature. Now, I ummed and ahed about collections to use with this, and I was going to go with Acorn Lane again, and indeed I do use a couple of bits from Acorn Lane, but I've actually pulled out some papers from 49 and Market, and this is from a collection. This is from one of their vintage artistry collections. I only have a couple, 2 or 3 sheets of paper from this collection and one packet of the acrylic leaves, acetate leaves, and I use that mainly with a few added elements in. So what I'm doing here is backing the different letters. I did want to back each of the letters and that pumpkin differently. I loved that flower, so I decided to actually use that as the feature to back the pumpkin. And then I've got a couple of stripy letters and then one plainer one. I did do them all in the same sort of hues, but I wanted them all to look different. I didn't want them to all be sort of like a plain orange, but I wanted plenty of orange to tie in with those 2 photographs. So photographs of my husband and son last year when we went to a pumpkin farm. I managed to get lots of really cool pictures. Of course, you have to take pictures or you didn't go. So what I'm going to do now is, you've just seen me trace around the outside of where the cut file is going to sit on the page, and I'm taking the layering stencil and some Distress Oxides. So I've got carved pumpkin, ripe persimmon, wild honey, frayed burlap. I think they're the colours I use. I don't think I use ripe persimmon actually. I think I use just the honey and the carved pumpkin. So what I'm doing is, what you probably can't see the pencil lines that I've drawn around, then I've done them quite faint on purpose, but I'm placing the leaves where they'll be poking out from behind the letters. And I've started by using wild honey. I'm now going to place the same stencil back over the top and just add a little bit of the carved pumpkin, but not over the entire thing, just to add a little bit of shading here and there. So do some with the carved pumpkin. I then take the frayed burlap, which is a brown colour, and I do the same sort of thing on a few of the leaves. So we've kind of got those browny, orangey, yellowy tones, those beautiful autumnal colours that we get. So I try not to do too much, but I just love the effect it gives by just doing sort of doing most of the leaf and then touching the edges with the different colours. It just gives a beautiful effect. I'm now going to take the second part of the stencil, which is the internal part of each of the leaves, and I'm going to use the frayed burlap just to add those, it's the spines that you're adding on. On that stencil there is the outline of the leaf is marked, so you can line it up perfectly and get the spines in the right place on the... Are they called spines? Apologies if they're not, but there we go. And I just think the effect of that is just gorgeous, and I'm really pleased with how that turned out. Next thing I'm going to do is, now this is Acorn Lane, I'm just going to take a couple of little pieces of the Acorn Lane. I wanted something just slightly darker, and I don't have anything darker in the 49 and Market, so I've just taken a little bit of that. I'm going to back each photograph just on a slightly different pattern paper, and then cut round them, and then quickly just distress the edges. They are going to tuck in around that letter E. And now I'm going to pop foam pads all over the back of the cut file, and then press them all down really hard so that you can peel off the backing really easily. These come off nice and easily actually, because they're kind of oversized from the normal teeny tiny square ones that you get. And I'm just going to place that I cut into my pencil lines. I do actually fiddle with this quite a bit to make sure it's lined up, and then press it down, and then fiddle with my photographs. Now what I was going to do was I was going to have my photographs tucked into the E, but actually I kind of lost a little bit of it and it kind of offset it too far, so I decided not to do that. So they are just going to sit on top of the cut file. So I've put foam underneath the right hand photo, just where it's not on top of the cut file, because obviously the cut file's up on foam. The rest of that photograph needed propping up as well. The rest of it's just stuck down with double-sided sticky tape. So now I'm going through the acetate leaves pack from the Vintage Artistry collection. These leaves are stunning. So this particular pack was all greens and oranges. I think I must have already done a layout with the oranges, because I've got hardly any orange ones left, but I had just enough to put some little vines that looked like, because pumpkins have like long windy vines, don't they, that grow off them, and that they grow off of, or grow from, should I say. And they just really reminded me of those kind of pumpkin vines. So I love the idea of having them kind of winding round the layout. Now this is where I start messing about, because I'm trying to just test out which bits of the collection are going to it. I wanted to use my little pumpkin crates and the two little pumpkins that you can see on the left, but the problem was there is very, very little green on any of the papers that I've used, and there's very little green in my photograph. So the green just sort of, for me and my photos and the papers I've used, the green just stuck out too much. So in the end, I take those off and I use other things instead. So I am going to put some more of those hearts on. I just think those hearts can go anywhere. I love adding little bits of ephemera like that on. I do put some flair on here. I took one in underneath that photo and then one underneath the V, and they look fabulous because they kind of mirror the shape of the main pumpkin on the page. But I do play around with this an awful lot before I'm happy with the layout. I know I love the leaves in the background, and I love those acetate leaves as well. I've just got to make everything else work together now. So just messing around, trying to decide what I'm going to use. I decide in the end that the leaves from the Acorn Lane collection are so different to those of the 49 and Market collection that they just don't seem to work together as I want them to. So don't end up putting many of those on. I think maybe I put one on later, but I don't put many of those on. A few little heart stickers. I found another leaf hanging around underneath my layout, so I popped that one in as well. Put a couple of word stickers on the top of my photograph and one on the bottom of the other one. So yeah, I do put a couple of those leaves in. And then I'm just going through, this is a mixture of collections that I've got in here. So this is just a tray out of my stash. I think there's Simple Stories, possibly Harvest Market in there from last year or the year before. There's some Carta Bella hanging around in that drawer as well, so there's all sorts of bits and pieces. But the little pumpkins were perfect, and I loved that little Sweet Autumn sign as well, so that ends up on the bottom of my photo. I'm using glue gel again because this allows me to move my ephemera around. It dries completely clear and allows you to add dimension to the layout as well. By the bigger the blob of glue gel you put on, it's dimensional gel, so it kind of holds its shape, so you can put big amounts in and you give yourself lots of dimension. So just taking everything out, sticking it back in. That one did not want to go back in where it came from. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of glue gel on those flare as well, and we're nearing the end of the page, just sticking some of those little hearts down with my glossy accents. And then I'm going to get some paint out and just do a few little splatters. For me, a layout isn't complete until you put some splatters on. But there we go, that's the layout. I adore how this has come together. The leaves are, I think the leaves in the background are my favourite thing. Thank you ever so much for watching today. Please do be sure to check out the other two videos that come along with this project pack. I hope you enjoy using this project pack, and I hope you create some beautiful layouts for your memories. I will leave a link in the description box below to our other project packs that you can get hold of from Peartree Cutfiles. But thanks ever so much for watching. Bye for now.